Hi, my name is Ronen Gordon, and I'm a drum instructor at the Musicians Institute in Hollywood, California. And today I'd like to share with you some tips and concepts and some basic ideas I use in my teaching here at the school. So I'd like to share with you a very simple exercise that I find beneficial with my students. Since I get a lot of large variety of students, some of them are very proficient, might have been playing for a while, but maybe never took lessons. And some of them are just beginners or intermediates that been playing a little bit, taking some instructions, and now want to take things to the next level. So I find this simple exercise really beneficial by explaining all the core principles of drumming technique, hand technique, to the student right away. And it gives me an overview of where they're at as far as control and understanding of these disciplines. So let me go over the exercise real quick. Basically, I'm playing hand-to-hand triplets. So most of the students already know how to play this exercise, but I'm going to force them to play it in a way that they basically never thought of. Basically, I'm trying to get them to play as fast as they can think. And at that stage, I just show them the exercise. Basically, the exercise goes like this. We have a loud stroke followed by two soft strokes. Right? Very simple. So most students can already play that. That's when they come here. So what I'm trying to get them to understand is that every stroke has a name and has a proper way to execute it. So I would just give a quick overview of those strokes. So this exercise goes over basic three types of strokes we use in drumming. The first one is called a downstroke. And basically, the name of the stroke, it relates to where you start with the stick and where you would end with the stick. So a downstroke starts high and ends low. So basically, I call this home position. So we start high, we end low. That's it. Basically, we're cushioning the stick and preventing it from coming back. And at this point, I'm trying to focus on proper execution, so they're just using their wrist, not their arm, and when they hit the stroke, they're not tightening their grip to hold the stick down. It's just a nice, loose, relaxed form. Okay, so that's the first stroke. The second stroke is where they start low and they end low, and which is basically home position, and they just tapped the drum and come back home. Very soft stroke. Basically, it's a tap stroke. And the last stroke, which is probably the one that requires a lot more attention and work to get the most benefit out of, is called an upstroke. And basically the concept of an upstroke is while we're putting our hand up, we're trying to get a tap stroke as we pull up. So basically the stick starts low and I'm supposed to end up high. So I could tap the head and pull my hand up, but now I'm executing two motions. So we're trying to streamline that motion and get the body to help us. So it's more of a fluid motion by using our wrist to drop, and as it drops, we get that tap. And then all the work has to come from the wrist as it pulls back up. So really slowly, it would look like this. And I'm trying to get the student to use their wrist and also understand they have to engage their elbow and shoulder. So I would give them a basic exercise like imagine your hand is a brush stroking the wall. So immediately they would use their elbow to get that motion. And then we basically try to imagine a wall up here and then trying to get them to get used to doing this motion. Right, so once I've broken down those three strokes, we can actually start breaking down the exercise. So I'm asking the student to actually say the type of stroke that they're playing. And if I would write it out, I would have right, left, right, left, right, left. There would be a big accent on the first stroke, and I'm asking the student to describe to me, okay, imagine where you're starting and where you're ending, and where do you need to go. So they have to take a look at each hand where it starts and where it needs to go. So if they're looking at the first stroke, they see that they need to play an accent on the first stroke. And then they're looking at the next stroke with the right hand and they see, oh, it's a soft stroke. So they need to go from high to low. So they know they need to play a downstroke. And then they take a look at the left hand. They see the left hand has to play a soft stroke. And that soft stroke has to move up to play a loud stroke. So they realize, okay, I have to play an upstroke to get ready to play that note. And then the last right hand is playing a tap stroke. And as they're doing that, I'm asking them to actually say the name of the stroke. And right now, I'm just focused on really, really slow execution. So the exercise would go like this. Down, up, tap. Down, up, tap. Down, up, tap. Down, up, tap. So it's a very simple exercise, but if they're beginners or they never really worked in this fashion, you start noticing certain bad habits. So here are some of the habits that I've seen that as a teacher you want to pay attention to. So when they're playing a downstroke, pay attention if they're hitting the downstroke that the hand that's not playing doesn't go up. It's a natural tendency when there's tension to get the other hand to move for no reason. And it usually happens if they're right-handed. When the left hand hits the drum, the right hand kind of gets jumpy. All right, so that's one area where we want to be careful. The next spot would be when they're executing an upstroke. They kind of get stuck. They kind of just use their hand and they kind of get stuck halfway. Or as they're doing the upstroke, they're already moving their right hand. So they're not finished doing the upstroke, and at that stage they're already playing the right hand. So I'm trying to get them to, finish each stroke and then start the next one. So we're trying to create a really clean transition between strokes. So basically down, up, tap. So tell them until the hand is not ready to play the next stroke, until it's locked in its position, don't play the next stroke. The last part is a lot of students close their hands as they're trying to control the stick, so we try to pay attention to prevent any tension. And the last thing is making sure that they count out loud, not in their heads, and we don't really worry about speed at this point. After they get comfortable with the exercise, I usually try and show them, hey, we can actually break down more rudiments, some rudiments that you already know in this way, because this is kind of the language of hand technique. So the next step would be maybe to break down a paradiddle, where they realize that a paradiddle is just a down, up, tap, tap. Up, tap, tap. Down, up, tap, tap. Down, up, tap, tap. Down, up, tap, tap. Up, tap, tap. Up, tap, tap. Up, tap, tap. And so on. And again, we're trying to control the sound, so there's a distinct loud accent and very soft notes, and everything is nice and relaxed. And they're always playing as fast as they can think. And that's the idea. Because they're usually, most students come in, they can already play a paradiddle, they can only play hand-to-hand triplets, but now we're trying to give them this really clean method, and by giving them this simple exercise, these basic 3 strokes, you can find out a lot about the basic technique and understanding and control of your student. So hopefully you'll find this beneficial. Give it a shot, and hope you enjoy it.